So good morning, welcome to all. So this is Uday Kumar from Hari Academy CSCS CMA. So and I will be your auditing faculty for the upcoming journey. So I will be your auditing faculty, and our subject will be covering 50% of the paper 10. So it's section B auditing. So Haridarshini,
Yes, sir.
so have you ever took like any coaching from any other institute for auditing?
Yes, sir.
So you have completed your like auditing coaching, right?
Yes, sir.
Before.
Yes.
So okay, so do you have I think you would have learned a lot, but so do you understand in like what are the primary objectives or secondary objectives, or what are the conceptual learning you would have learned right earlier?
Sir, I'm not sure, uh, what to say. Like, I'm not so much strong in concepts, but I have attended those classes actually.
So okay, fine. So in our upcoming sessions, we will be discussing deep to the subject. Okay, we'll elaborate the concepts. So you need not
Okay,
worry
sir.
about so what is your opinion on auditing? You need to by heart, or what is if you have the conceptual knowledge, you can present in the paper very well. And I did it.
Okay, sir.
So we will be going for like conceptual learning. So you need not by heart any all these things like what are the auditing standards even. In our upcoming sessions too, we'll be discussing in a conceptual learning manner, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, let's begin with today's class. Today's is just an introduction class. So in this class, you will be learning like overview of the auditing. What is the purpose? What is the main purpose? What is the key role playing? What are the key roles that is playing? Okay,
Okay, sir.
it's purely an introduction class for auditing.
Okay, sir.
We will not deep dive into the subject. Just an overview on what is the in part of exam point of view. Also, we will be discussing this paper. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if you go through if you are having the conceptual learning, for sure you will be scoring above more than 35, and I can assure you that. Fine.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So keep engaged yourself. Fine.
Okay, sir.
So okay, all right. So as I told you, it's our paper B, section B, auditing. So as I told you, it's today's as a purely introduction class. We won't be involving deep into the subjects. Today we just discuss about the introduction part. Like what is the basic concepts? What is the purpose of auditing? Why it is like introduced in our CMS intermediate syllabus as even it's purely related to companies. Okay, being in cost accountant, how it is helpful for our auditor, how it is helpful for cost accountants. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so we will in detail we'll elaborate these things. So before that, for exam point of view, we'll discuss about few topics. What are the main topics and how to score like more than 35 plus marks, even though after go through of like conceptual learning. In from exam point of view, how you should score more than 35 marks. We will even discuss all those things in our upcoming classes too. So, as I told you, basic concepts of auditing. In this basic concepts of auditing, we will be just give me a second. So, are you able to understand are you able to understand, Haridarshini?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So, in our first part, like section B auditing, the first chapter is, as I told you, introduction. In introduction, we will be discussing about basic concepts of auditing. So in that nature, scope, objectives already listed here in this nature, objective, brief introduction to auditing standards, audit engagement, audit notebook. These are the things. So before that, we will detailedly discuss about all these things, which is nature, scope, objectives, and significance of auditing. Okay. So if you have the clear knowledge of nature, what is the purpose of auditing? What is the main objective? how it is playing a crucial role in our in like cost accountant life. What is the main purpose of it? If you learn all these things, so ultimately, so auditing is just a thing like which are the rules and regulations implemented by our like board. So we will be following all those things, certain rules and regulations. As I told you, ICAMI, ICAR, these are the governing bodies. These are the regulators. Just they introduce the rules and regulations, and being an auditor, we must follow those rules and regulations. It's simply an rules and regulations which must be followed. So even like being an auditor, if you are being an auditor to a company, you are supposed to verify the documents. As the name itself represents, auditing. Auditing is the like auditing. Let's deeply discuss about the term. What is meant by auditing? Okay.
Okay, sir.
So sorry for the inconvenience. So hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
So as I told you, like auditing, it's a term. It is derived from some other language like Latin word. So the word is called like adere, adere, which means to hear. Okay. So due to like modern technology or like there's a change in technologies, so it is converted just not just about hearing. Auditing, it's not just about hearing, and it also interpreting the like opinion towards the report. Okay. So even auditing, when an auditor conducts an audit in a company, they are supposed to like investigate, and they are supposed to analyze, and they also have to like give an opinion on those like interpretation or like investigation, and that must be in true and fair view. Okay. So if you are being an auditor to a company, so you are supposed to like this is a role. I would say this is a role of an auditor. The main primary objective is of an auditor is to give a fair, true and fair view opinion. Okay. So are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
So if you feel any like uncomfort, if you are feeling uncomfortable like that, if you are unable to understand, so please clearly like you can like mention in the chat box, or like you can clearly ask any doubts regarding. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Okay, fine. So as I told you, like auditing is an independent examination of financial information. So why it is called like independent examination? So being an auditor, you should not be influenced by any other third party or by the management. So we'll be discussing in detail in the upcoming classes what is like statutory audit. There's a different kinds of audit like internal audit, statutory audit. So if you are being a statutory auditor, then you should not just statutory auditor. There are certain like different types of auditor. First of all, being an auditor, you should not be influenced by any other third parties or the management. So if you are influenced by them, you will be like you won't be like giving a fair and true opinion, right? So being an auditor, you are supposed to give true and fair view of financial information of any entity. Okay. So if you are conducting an audit to a company, you must be like you will be investigating the financial information, like say, let's say like what are those like financial statements, right? You will be investigating the financial statements whether it is true and fair view or not. So what are the is organization is doing really good, or how they are representing it in the financial statements, the financial position of a company. You will be like representing it, and you will be like verifying it, investigating is there any error or is there any fraud occurred, right? The primary objective of learning auditing is to give a fair, true and fair view opinion. Fine.
Yes, sir.
So what's the primary objective of being an auditor?
To give true and fair view.
So primary objective is to give fair and true and fair view opinion. Primary objective is to give true and fair view. And the secondary objective is being like, and the secondary objective. Secondary objective is to detect any fraud occurred, fraud or mistake. Okay. So being an auditor, you are just going to investigate, and you are supposed to disclose the information. What are the investigation that you made? You are going to just give the true and fair view, and you are just interpreting on it. And you are not going to deeply investigate, and you are not going to give any solution to this. You are supposed to only find, is there any fraud or error or mistake? Is there any fraud? What does it mean, fraud? It isn't intentionally did by the management or any other third party. The mistake is it's purely unintentional. So if you are committing any error without any it was like unintentional. So behind that mistake, or you are not going to like make money, or you are not just, you will not be making any money, or you are the, as I told you, it's purely unintentional. So that is called mistake. If you are committing any mistake, or if you are committing any error, so intentionally, if you are doing intentionally, so behind that there are some lot of things hidden. So that is called fraud. So being an auditor, what is the secondary objective? It's not just about the primary objective is being like you are supposed to give the true and fair view. And the secondary objective is like to detect any fraud or mistake. So in order to give the true and fair view opinion, first of all, you need to detect, is there any fraud or mistake? If there is any fraud or mistake, you will be interpreting on it, right? Are you able to understand this?
Yes, sir.
So first of all, so when an auditor, being an auditor, if you are examining any financial statements, you will be like all the books of accounts, you will be like examining by having your like engagement members. I hope you know who are like the term engagement members, right? Engagement team.
No, sir. Can you
So,
explain it, please?
so if you are like, if I'm like going like, if I'm continuing, so if you are unable to understand any terms, you can ask again. Okay,
Okay,
feel
sir.
free to ask.
Yes, sir.
So the term engagement team members, being an auditor, if you are like if you are just created like a firm, right? So under your like survey, like under your, there will be a team, right? Audit engagement team members, those are called articleship students, internship students, right?
Yes, sir.
So those are the engagement team members. So being an auditor, you won't be like going for each and every company, and you will be like verifying the like assets physically, and you will be like not just like checking all the documents physically, right? You will be having your engagement team members, and you will send them by just before that, you will be like audit engagement. There are a lot of things we'll be discussing in our upcoming classes. There are a lot of things to learn in auditing too. It's a easy subject, seriously, if you go through like in a conceptual manner. Okay. So in this today's class, we will be discussing just the primary objective, secondary objective. This, what are the objectives? First of all, we need to learn why we are supposed to study auditing. What is the main purpose of it in our CMA intermediate? Not just about the CMA intermediate, for our career too. So being a cost accountant or being a chartered accountant, it is a crucial part, right? Interpreting on the financial statements and giving a fair and true and fair view opinion, and detecting is there any fraud or mistake. Okay. I hope this is clear to you. Fine.
Yes, sir.
So did you got my point, right? What is the term being like engagement team members?
Yes, sir. I got it.
Okay, fine. So as I told you, like the secondary objective is to detect any fraud or mistake, and the primary objective is true and fair view. So you need not worry about the notes. I'll send you the notes. Okay. Fine.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So if you are going through we'll be discussing the chapters or the modules from the ICMA material, but I will provide you separate notes from the exam point of view, or like it will be a summary charts and flow charts. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So if you are studying in that manner, you will you need not by heart anything. There are certain things like definitions and standards on auditing. So those things should be kept in mind. So in order to uh, keep all those things in your mind, you are supposed to repeat, you are supposed to repeat like number of times. You need to practice it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So if you feel like uncomfortable in any situations, please feel free to discuss. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Haridarshni, have you ever thought like this? Instead of why an auditor should give only true and fair view opinion. Instead, he could being an auditor after you are being an auditor, instead of true and fair view, why can't we use the word correct? So did you get my point?
Yes, sir. But true means like what are there in the financial statement should be interpreted in that manner, not like corrected means like we will adjust it. No, sir. Like that difference, I think.
So it's not just about adjustments. Those are not adjustments. Okay, but you are really trying well and good. But the thing is, an entity or an organization. So as you know, like there are different what we say. There are a lot of accounting standards and even accounting concepts, accounting conventions, accounting policies, right? So each and every organization need not use the same policies which is used by an organization, and it need not be used by the same policies, same conventions. So if you look at electricity company, say they do have separate act, right? If you look at banking companies, they do have separate act, banking regulations act. There are a lot of things, right? So if you look at normal companies like private company or public company, they have called act called Companies Act 2013. So if you look at banking has some regulation, Banking Regulation Act. So the financial statement is prepared depending upon the nature of the entity, right? But the only thing common is you are supposed to give the true and fair opinion, but you cannot give true and correct word. The term true itself represents this is true, which means it's 100%. But instead of using the word fair, right? Instead of using the word fair, you can use the word correct, right? True and correct. But we cannot use the word correct. So the reason behind that is there are different types of accounting policies used by the entity. So an organization, books of accounts are maintained by the management itself, right? From the commencement of the business, an auditor is not maintaining all these things, right?
Yes, sir.
It is purely managed by the management, and it is purely recorded, or each and every transactions are recorded by the management, not by the auditor. But these things are verified and cross-checked, examined by the auditor. So from the date, like the commencement of the financial year, from the 1st April to let's assume 2021. So till the 31st March 22, right? For the whole year, the books of accounts are maintained by the management itself. So at the end of the financial year, and an auditor will be investigating or examining or conducting the audit, right? Audit of the books of accounts. So it must be verified within 2 and 3 months. You won't the whole year process. It's a process of 365 days. The transactions and the entries which are made in the books of accounts will be examined and cross-checked and verified, investigated by the auditor. He will be he will be given only 20 or 30 days time itself, right? So within 20 or 30 days, How can an auditor purely verify, investigate all the transactions or all the entries or all the activities made by the organizations? Is that possible? Do you think is that possible for
No,
being
sir.
an auditor? So it's possible, but it's really quite risky. So within
Yes.
20 to 30 days, so you must cross check all the transactions, even that might be like a small or the bigger one, a larger one, without having a huge amount. Like there are a lot of activities would have been made by the like organizations, like purchase of an asset. Like there are certain activities in which there are a lot of risk involved. So he's like able to give only the so within the prescribed time limit, he can give only the true and fair view. The statements which are the report which is provided by the auditor will be maximum true and fair view, but it cannot be true and correct. Correct, which means it's 100% correct. The term itself correct. True means it's purely the statements which are the report which is given by the auditor is true. So before that, we are using, and even we are using the term called fair. The fair term itself represents like it's a pure thing. The whatever the statements that whatever the represent I am representing, it's fair. So the term fair is dependent upon the term true. So what are the statements? What are the thing I am teaching to you? So I am saying it's purely fair. And I am stating that again and again, the what are the statements that I told you that is also true. As of now, which we have discussed. Are you able to get my point, Haridarshini?
I can't get the difference between the true and fair. You
So
said
as I
no.
told you, so if you are given like time, let's take an example. Like if you are given time of 365 days, so from the beginning
Okay.
date, you are you are only making the entries. You are recording the transactions, being an auditor or an engagement team member, right? So
Yes,
if you are
sir.
doing from the beginning stage, from the first day of the commencement of financial year till the end of the
Hmm.
financial year, so at that moment you can give an assurance, right? It's purely true and correct. I can say that it's true and correct, right?
Yes, sir.
If you are doing individually, recording all the transactions, and you can give an assurance to the management or to the like body, regulating body or governing body, you can assure them, you can give an assurance to them that it's purely true and correct because you itself recorded it, you itself cross-verified it from the beginning stage, right?
Yes, sir.
At that situation you can give. So depending upon the entities concepts, accounting concepts, like accounting conventions, accounting policies, these are the terms. Like you are, I mean, it's not just a bigger thing, it's a concepts and convention accounting policies. You would have known already, like an entity may use like a straight line depreciation method. Few entities,
Hmm.
few organization used to like have an like a return down value method for depreciation, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to get my point?
Yes, sir.
So these are the things you must note. Being an auditor, you cannot give a true and fair. You cannot give the true and correct view. You can rather than a true and correct, you can give true and fair view.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. So is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is the prime in this class? In this till now, we have learned like what is the primary objective?
True and fair view of opinions.
Okay, and the secondary objective is to detect.
Detect any fraud or mistakes.
So for this, we do have like in the upcoming class, we will discuss about with few examples, few case studies too. Okay, you need
Okay,
not
sir.
worry about. We can elaborate in a big like a huge. There are a lot of things to be discussed. Okay,
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
okay, fine. Just give me a second. Hello.
Yes, sir.
So let's just discuss about the introduction part of auditing. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So okay. If you don't mind, can you read this out?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Financial statements are the end products of formal accounting system. They are often used by various interested parties in making useful decisions. Accordingly, authenticity, truthfulness, and fairness are considered to be the integral characteristics of these statements so as to make them really worthy to support a decision making process. However, mere recording of transactions in the books of accounts may not be adequately ensure the above qualities, considering the possibility of unintentional mistakes as well as organized frauds, and independent appraisal of the recorded facts is essential. Auditing in its fundamental form ensures the above appraisal of financial accounting data and management assertions in order to support the decision making process. Moreover, the emerging dimensions of audit extend the above appraisal exercise beyond the traditional financial accounting data and address issues more focused. In today's business world, auditing plays a multi-phase dynamic role in almost all the important functional areas of an organization.
Okay, great. Okay, fine. So as you read this out, like financial statements are the end products of accounting system. So I think you are a commerce student, right? From like
Yes, sir.
11th class or 12th class. So you know what is the term meaning like financial statements. It is prepared at
Yes,
the
sir.
end of the accounting year, stating that the what is the financial position of a company. It represents the financial position of a company. Like what are the liabilities, what are the assets, like procured by the like organizations, right? So financial statements are the end products of formal accounting system. So they are often used by various interested parties in making useful decisions. Who are those various like interested parties? Who are those people? We can be called like members, right?
Mm.
Members,
Oh,
shareholders. If it's a public
yes,
company, shareholders, or if it's a whatever the companies, whatever the case may be, like if it's a company and organization, investors, employees, and even the government, right? So in
yes,
order
sir.
to make the decisions, they must know the what is the financial. If so, Haridashni, let's assume that you are interested to invest in a company. Let's assume that it is called like a Reliance. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
As you are interested in stock market, are you really interested in stock market? Like, so do you have any
Yes,
like
sir.
knowledge regarding that?
I have few knowledge about that.
So okay, fine. So you know what does it mean, how it works, right? How it is functioning.
Yes, sir.
So being a, like an investor, so first of all, you will be like interested to know what is the financial position of that Reliance company. So if you know that, then you can like predict, right? So it's purely prediction, right? So
Yes, sir.
that in the future it's going to make huge returns. So if in order to make give huge returns in future, it should perform it should perform well, right? If it
Yes, sir.
performs well in terms of like financial, then you are likely to get more returns in the future.
Yes, sir.
So in order to like analyze, you need some statements, right? What is the financial position of the company? What are the projections they are making for future?
Yes,
So
sir.
in order to make the decisions whether to invest or if you have already invested in a company, whether to retain or whether to like exit from the market, being an investor, in order to make that useful decision, these are the useful decisions, right? So in the from the point of from the which means from point of view like being an investor. So if you are
Yes, sir.
being an employee, the reason behind I'm explaining it is like interested parties. If you are being an investor, so you are supposed to know the what is the financial situation, financial position of a company, whether I should invest more, retain my like shares, or whether I have to exit from the market at this moment, right? So
Yes, sir.
it's from the point of view of like investor. So what if in case of like employee? If the organization is, if let's assume that if you are an employee of Tata,
Okay, sir.
Tata, I think you know really very well. Tata is really doing well and good in all
Yes, sir.
sectors. That might be like steels or cars or manufacturing of everything, like IT sector. Huh? It is
Mm.
really doing
Yes,
well
sir.
and good. So if you are being a, like a IT employee of like Tata's, okay. TCS. Let's assume that Tata Consultancy is with TCS.
Yes,
You
sir.
are being an employee for it. So your
Okay.
company is not really doing well up to the mark in futures too. That it's not getting any more deals in future, and you are not even getting projects. So will you work for that company, or you will be like, your intention will be like to like change or switch to any other company?
My decision will be to switch, sir.
Switch. Obviously
Yes.
switch, right? So
Yes, sir.
these are the useful decisions, right?
Yes, sir.
So in order to make these useful decisions, an auditor, I told you already, like he must like express a true and fair view opinion. So there is a qualified person saying that. So let's assume that I am being a qualified person, and I am like explaining to you that TCS will not shut down in upcoming years. You need not worry about it. I am being an auditor. It's just a recession period at this moment going on in the market. So being an auditor, I'm just like telling you that in future you need not worry about it. You just stay in the TCS and work on the undergoing projects. You should not make all these decisions. I'm being an auditor. I'm disclosing you that nothing will be happen in the future. You can work in the same company. You will get projects even, and in 1 or 2 years, TCS will be doing very well and good. So being a qualified person, if he gives some assurance to you, like saying the statements which I just discussed to you, if he provides all those information, will you believe in that? Being a qualified chartered accountant or cost accountant, being an auditor, if he is giving his true and fair view opinion, you would consider this his points, right? Valid points.
Yes,
You
sir.
will consider it as a
Yes.
valid things, right?
Yes, sir.
So it is he is just you cannot make so as an end user we cannot verify all the things, right? But an
Yes.
auditor will go through each and everything of statements, records, books of accounts, transactions, entries, right? What are the mistakes or
Yes, sir.
errors like incurred by the management or committed by the management? These all things will be verified by the auditor. But all these things, even in what are the internal control system, how it is functioning, how is the management internal control system, these all things will be verified by the auditor. But being an employee or being an investor, is that possible?
No, sir.
No. So these all things will be verified, and all these things will be verified, and for those things, like true and fair, an auditor will be expressing an opinion. So depending upon the opinion, the end users will make the decisions. So that's the reason they are often used by various interested parties in making useful decisions. Is that
Okay, sir.
clear?
Yes, sir.
So, okay, let's continue. Accordingly, authenticity, truthfulness, and fairness are considered to be the integral characteristics of the statements as to make them really worthy to support a decision-making process. So, like, in order to like decision making, so if you are as an end user, you will be you are the decision maker, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
whether to retain in the company, retain the shares, or exit from the company, whether I should like release my funds, or whether I should quit the company or switch to some other companies, being an investor or being an employee, right? So the decision
Yes.
making process accordingly, like as I told you, the authenticity, truthfulness, and fairness are to be considered. So even for an auditor, the expressing the opinion which is expressed by an auditor must be truthfulness and fairness and the authenticity, which means the quality, right? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, okay. These all things will be like considered for decision making process. These are the main things, right? So being an employee, you will be like seeking for the truthfulness, how truth it is and how fair it is. You will be like cross-examining, right? After getting an auditor like a report, you will be cross-examining or you will be cross-checking how truthful it is, how fairness it is, how what is the quality of the statements, it's qualified or not. You will be cross-examining, right? So in order to make the decision, these are the integral characteristics. Fine. These are going to support for your decision making process, right? The fairness, truthfulness, authenticity. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, let's continue. However, mere recording of transaction in the books, however, mere recording of transaction in the books of accounts may not be adequately ensure the above qualities. So if an organization is just recording all the transactions, merely recording, which means recording each and everything, taking a huge amount, that doesn't mean it's a 100% qualified, or it's having the 100% truthfulness, right? So if you are just recording all the transactions from the beginning, you are just saying that from the beginning stage I have recorded all the things. That doesn't mean it is purely 100% truthfulness and fairness. It must be cross-examined, cross-checked. There may be few errors which might be like committed by the management intentionally. So in order to find those all the errors or frauds, it must be cross-examined. It must be investigated by a person. That person is called an auditor, right? Considering the
Yes, sir.
possibility of unintentional mistakes, considering the possibility of unintentional mistakes as well as organized frauds. Organized frauds means which is already pre-planned by the management, which is intentionally. So if an Haridashni, if an like if an organization is committing a fraud intentionally, what does it mean? What do you like? What do you understand by that term? Being like a member or the internal management, okay. So if they are committing any fraud intentionally, what does it mean? Behind that, there is something, right?
Yes, sir.
So behind that, so what are the possible things? What are the possible outcomes with the intentional fraud they can gain?
They can take mere advantage over the other party.
Other party, and you are like hiding something, right?
Yes, sir.
So that might be like from the point of view, like let's assume like organization. So
Mm.
the profit must be like a certain the profit is made from the in the name of organization, and it is like procured and it is earned by the organization with the goodwill of. But these things are like it's a fraud, right? They are committing fraud, and they are like it's like a, how we say, mm, as you even told, right? The same thing. They are taking an advantage of it, committing any mistake, and they are taking the money to their home, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So these are the things which are made intentionally. So considering the possibility of unintentional mistakes as well as organized frauds, organized frauds, which means intentional mistake, and independent appraisal of the recorded facts is essential. So as the mistakes are made intentionally, so being an auditor, so you are an auditor. Let's assume that you are an auditor. You are conducting an audit to an organization. So from where
Mm.
you will seek the information or seek the reports or the like statements, books of accounts. From where you will be getting all those things? From the organization itself, right? And the management
Yes, sir.
members will be providing it, right?
Yes, sir.
So the books of accounts. So the books of accounts are influenced by, or which is already we know very well. The books of accounts are prepared by the management, right? So they
Yes, sir.
might commit any intentional mistakes too. So in order to find those things, an auditor must be having a like independent examination. He must be independent. He must not be dependent, like he should not depend on the management. He should depend on management for only certain things, but he should have the questioning mind. That is called professional skepticism. Did you get my point?
Yes, sir.
The word term professional skepticism, it's professional skepticism. It's like code of ethics. For being an auditor, we must have some ethics too. If we have that ethics, then only we will be like we can be independent. Then only we can give the true and fair view opinion on the financial statements which we examined, which we investigated. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So always he must have an act of questioning mind towards the management or towards the books of accounts or towards the members, which means include shareholders, investors, everyone, employees. Fine. So he must. So in order to find, so you are an auditor to you are conducting an audit for an organization. If you are not being an independent person, so how the information that you are going to provide will be fair? You will be influenced by them. Either you will be influenced by the management or member, right? So you are getting like few doubts. So how this is possible? Instead of 30,000, how did we get? How you just get the 20,000? So if you are asking again this to the management, and they did this error intentionally, how will you find out this? By asking again the management. Will they disclose? Do you think they will be disclosing that intentional mistake which they did?
No, sir.
No, right? They did already.
Yes.
They did for did that for with an intentional purpose, and they won't. They never for never they will be disclosing these things. So you must be independent. There are a lot of things to be considered while conducting an audit. So among that, one thing is like an auditor must be independent. Independent appraisal of the record facts is essential, right? Okay, are you getting my point? So till now,
Yes, sir.
I hope this is clear to you. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. So do you have
I'm
any
clear.
doubts? Like, hello, Haridarshni, do you have any doubts till now as
Sir,
we
am I
discussed?
audible?
So you are audible. Yes, you are audible. So till now, do you have any doubts? Like, as we
No,
discussed
sir.
about the primary objective, secondary objective, how an auditor should be like, what's the purpose of conducting an audit? I hope it's
No, sir.
clear.
Yes, sir. I'm clear.
So I hope it's clear. The purpose of conducting an audit is for making an useful decisions by the various interested parties. Those various interested parties may be like the person, those who have invested in it, and those who are like interested to invest in the company, or the employees, or the members. It's also called, instead of using the words interested parties, we can use the term called end users. End users.
Okay, sir.
Right? The purpose of
Yes, sir.
conducting an audit is, it is stating, being an auditor, if you are just giving an opinion of fair and true and fair view, you are stating that it's a true and fair view. The financial statements are true and fair view. That means you are representing the organization is going like it's following the certain rules and regulations provided by the government, or it is really doing well and good. It's not it is not committing any fraud or error, right? So you are acting on behalf of the organization and you are stating that it is correct. Not just the term correct, it is true and fair. They didn't commit any mistakes. They didn't commit any fraud. The financial statements which is provided by the management is truly absolute. So by considering these financial statements, the end users can make their decisions, own decisions independently. They need not again ask the management again and again. So even for the investors, we'll discuss it like in detail. So what the for in case of public company, private company, for in terms of irrespective of any legality, like it may be like a partnership, or it may be like a joint stock company, or it may be like a LLP, private company, public company, how the auditor is appointed, how the auditor is like a like there are a lot of things to be discussed. Okay. So before that, we will just discuss about the introduction part. How, for what purpose it is done. Okay. As of now, we have discussed just few points. It's not just even a single page we have completed. It's just an introduction part, right?
Yes, sir.
So I hope this is clear to you. So till now, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay.
Oh, okay,
So
sir.
do you have like any doubts? Like, do you have any like things
Sir,
like to be discussed
in that an independent appraisal of the
of there?
recorded facts is essential. What is the meaning of that appraisal over there?
I would say like it's an independent approach of the recorded facts.
Okay, sir.
Like appraising, which means you need to like you must be, as I told you, you must be independent. Being an auditor always the few I will discuss with you like the definition of an audit or auditing. Okay. So at
Okay,
that
sir.
time you'll clearly get my point. What does it mean, the independent appraisal, which means what, how you are going to approach like the recorded facts, that you are going to give a true and fair view opinion, right? So in order to
Yes,
give
sir.
the true and fair view opinion, you must be independent. You should not be influenced by any other parties. So let's assume that let's take a small example. So you, as we know in our in our region, or like they used to say panchayat, right?
Yes, sir.
So in our panchayat, in our early in your in movies too, you would have seen like
Yes, sir.
in panchayat, if there is any like mistake, or if there is anything goes wrong in a village, they used to sit
Mm.
under a banyan tree, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
you are that person. Consider yourself that you are that person. You are going to give an opinion, decision, right?
Yes, sir.
So there will be two parties, both the parties, the person who committed the mistake and who is like a what we say, that victim, a person
Okay.
who was suffering, who is suffering from that, a person who is suffering and a person who committed the
Okay.
mistake. You
Yes,
must
sir.
consider both of those, both of them, both of their opinion. You should consider their statements, and you are going to give the what? You are going to make a decision, right?
Yes,
Whether
sir.
he is correct or whether he is correct. The party who is against him, right? So in
Yes.
order to give a true and fair opinion, you must be independent, right? If in case a person who committed the mistake, his like colleagues, if they are like discussing with you, or if they are like if you are influenced by that person's colleagues, huh? His surrounding peoples, how will you be making how you will be making the decision? You will be supporting him, right? The person who committed the mistake, right? You will
Yes, sir.
be influenced by those parties. If you are influenced by those parties, huh? A person who committed the mistake and one more person who didn't commit any mistake, you are a person who are the decision maker, right?
Okay, sir.
If you are influenced by the person who committed the mistake and who is suffering, let's assume, right?
Yes, sir.
You are influenced by these people, your decision will be his side, right?
Yes, sir.
So you are not giving the fair opinion. You are influenced, right? In the
Yes, sir.
same manner, the records or what are the books of accounts maintained by the management, you are just collecting them and you are examining and you are cross-checking and you are investigating in it. And you are not supposed to depend upon the management again and again. So you will be for sure in order to like procure the what we say that documents. You are supposed to like depend upon the management, but you should not be purely depending upon the management for each and every errors. You should not. An act of questioning mind must be there. You should question them always. So even in our case, in this thing, you as you are a decision maker, you will be asking questions, right?
Yes, sir.
And you will not be considering all of the points, like considering what are the stories, what are the things. They may say cock and bull stories. Will you believe in it? You won't be believing that, right?
Yes,
You
sir.
will consider the valid points, and you will even you will be asking the suffering persons too, right? What
Yes,
happened?
sir.
What is the case? What is the story behind that? And you will be providing a true and fair view. In the same manner, you should not be influenced by any other party while making while giving a true and fair opinion. So with the opinion which you are providing, so there are a lot of peoples depending upon it. I told you, right? End users,
Yes.
interested parties. There are several huge amount of public even. So what about the stock market? The investors. There are like lakhs of crores of investors just waiting for your true and fair view opinion. The whole thing is different in case of public company. I hope you know what is public company, right?
Yes, sir.
So the public company, like shareholders are waiting for just the even in stock market after the like in the examination of the financial statement after the audit report to like every quarter results, there is a fluctuation in the shares, right?
Yes, sir.
So the whole thing is depending upon the independent like examination which you made and the true and fair view like expressed by an auditor, right? There are like, huge amount of people making decision depending upon the auditor's opinion.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
it must be made independent. The approach must be independent and the examination can be an independent examination. Okay. So if
Yes.
you are being independent, then only you are that is the way for possible. It is purely possible to find out the unintentional mistake and intentional mistakes. Right?
Okay, sir.
I hope it's clear. So still, if you have any doubts, I think it's clear. But if you are having still any doubts, you can ask.
No, sir. I understood.
So as of now, what the things which we have discussed, I hope it's clear. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if you
Yes.
have any doubts, you can you can ask any doubts at any time in the WhatsApp group too. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So okay, let's shall we continue? Shall we?
Yes, sir.
So okay. So auditing. Oh, just give me a second. So auditing in its fundamental form ensures the above appraisal of financial accounting data and management assertions. The term assertions will be discussed in the upcoming classes. Okay, there are a lot of things to be. The term assertion will be like in detail. We will be elaborating it. Okay, in order to
Okay,
support
sir.
the decision making process. So everything, whichever the opinion that you are going to provide for an like for on an organization, the opinion which you are providing on an organization, it's purely the opinion will depending upon on your opinion, there are huge amount of people that supports the decision making process. Okay. So moreover, the emerging dimensions of audit extend the above appraisal exercise beyond the traditional financial accounting data and address issues more focused. In today's business world, auditing plays a multifaceted dynamic role in almost all the important functional areas of an organization. As we discussed, auditing. So without any like audit report, do you think it's possible for an investors or an end users to show more interest towards the organization, or whether to make decisions? In order to make decisions purely, and auditing is mandatory, I would say. Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
So if in case of a large scale organization, it's purely depend upon the reports, the what we say, the financial positions are most, these are the most more and more crucial things. So that is what discussed here. In today's business world, auditing plays a multifaceted dynamic role in almost all the important functional areas of an organization. So in order to make at the end of this session, we can conclude that it is more helpful to the end users, right? In order to make decisions. Okay, I hope it's clear, right? So in this
Yes,
today's
sir.
session, we just discussed about the primary objective, the secondary objective, why an auditor must be independent, right? I hope
Yes, sir.
you got some knowledge regarding the auditor. Wow. So if you find any like something uncomfortable or discomfort, you can clearly discuss with our team members, or even you can ask any doubts in the WhatsApp group. Okay.
Yes, sir.
We just discussed about the what is the primary objective, secondary objective, and how an auditor should behave, and how it is helpful to the end users. Okay, why
Yes,
an
sir.
auditor is conducting we in our upcoming sessions we will be like discussing about how an audit should be conducted, and what is the like appointment of auditor, is like a removal of an auditor. There are a lot of things to be discussed, right? In this we got a
Yes,
lot
sir.
of things like basic concepts of auditing. We will be discussing about nature, scope. Still we have like significance of auditing, and then we will like we won't be, I would say that as per this like what we say like as per like the model, ICMA model, we won't be discussing it. We will be it will be like what we say, jumbled. First, we might start with like provision relating to Audit Companies Act 2013, how an auditor will be appointed, what is the disqualification, what is the remuneration, what are the removal rights and duties and liabilities of an auditor, and then cost audit, secretarial audit. First, we may discuss all these things, and then we will go to again the how the audit will be conducted. Okay. First of all, we must know that how an auditor is, who is eligible, and what are the qualification, disqualification. So, being an auditor, if you know that, then we will be discussing about how an audit will be conducted. What does the term mean, internal control system? Okay. And
Yes,
then
sir.
in detail, we will be discussing about it, like what is the purpose of having an auditor in a companies, and there are like auditing of different types of undertakings. Okay. There are a lot of things to be discussed in our upcoming sessions. So please don't miss this. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
first, from the exam point of view, also we will be discussing that provision relating to I think a provision relating to it holds 30% of the weightage, right?
Yes, sir.
So which means you will be getting around, out of 50 marks, you will be getting for sure mm, 25 marks. Okay.
Yes.
So let's discuss. Let's in tomorrow class we will just go through some deep definitions. What does it mean? The term auditing. What is it the term called audit, and who is called an auditor? And what is the scope, significance, what is the like, there are certain things. Okay, and I will send you the notes. Fine.
Yes, sir.
So we'll discuss all those things in the next session, and then we'll start with the new chapter. So or if you are like, I will be like beginning with the provision relating to audit under Companies Act 2013. Who is eligible, what are the qualifications, disqualifications. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you need not by heart all those things. There are plenty of sections, standards on auditing. You need not by heart. You just keep on practicing it. Like the most number of times you repeat, you can recollect them easily. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So I will be providing you the notes for the upcoming sessions, and I will send you by, I think I will send you by evening, okay? From
Okay,
exam
sir.
point of view, you can go through it, and I will be even providing you the flow charts, so that for summary charts, so that you can like go through on it. If you are free, then if in your free time you can just go through on it, so that you can recollect all those things. So in between, you are if you have time for tomorrow sessions, so you just go through for the nature, scope, objective, and significance of auditing. That's it. That's more than enough. And just for the first 10 minutes, we'll discuss what are the things, what is your opinion, and what you just understand by the terms, like what are the topics like nature, scope, objective, and significance of auditing. Fine.
Okay, sir.
So if it's my humble request, you just go through on it, nature, scope, objective, and significance of auditing. As you told, like that, you took already coaching, right?
Yes, sir.
So you would have like some you would have knowledge regarding that. So you just
Okay,
go
sir.
through, and in tomorrow session we'll be discussing about all those things for just the introduction as on 10 minutes, and then we'll continue the session. And by the evening, I will be like a whole auditing notes. I cannot send you. So
Okay.
like I will divide them into 2 or 3 parts, and then I will send you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So feel free to ask any questions in between the class, and even after the class, I will be available at any time. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. So I hope you really enjoyed the session, I think. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So thank you for your time. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Let's meet in the next session. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.